What's up YouTube, Danny James here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a refraction look inside of Adobe Premiere. What I mean by refraction look, we're kind of mimicking a prism. Whenever you place sort of a prism in front of your lens, you can see the different flares and effects that happen on your video. We're going to be creating these digitally such that you don't need to have those items in your sets. Now remember, the easiest way to support this channel or me as a creator is to give this video a like, which should literally cost you one click. And the second easiest way to do it is also by visiting my digital store. I have packs and presets that you might find useful. Just check out, and I'm happy to share my knowledge and creativity with you guys. Without further ado, let's jump into Adobe Premiere. So I have clips right here on my timeline. Basically, these two clips are from one music video. The first step that you want to do, you want to identify the part of your video where you want to have this refraction look. In my case, I'll opt for this clip right here. All you need to do, make sure you make a cut, get your razor tool and create a cut where you have like a second scene coming in between. So basically with this clip right here, since I already have a cut right here, basically all you need to do is to duplicate that clip, hold Alt or Option key on Mac, drag that clip up. I'll change the color so that you can also follow along. And then what you want to do, go to your effects controls and under opacity, get this elliptical mask. I'll hide the layer which is right beneath so that you can see whatever is happening on the screen, like that. Let's click on the elliptical mask. Now you want to create something like a bulge, sort of a semicircle or an egg, whichever that you prefer. Also make sure not to reach way ahead or up towards the borders. Just make sure it's within and it has this oval shape. Okay. Afterwards, you want to alter your mask settings. Bump up the feather a little bit. Anywhere between 200 and 250 seems to be a good point. So I leave it at 230. And then you can also change the mask expansion. This is really important. You want to increase that mask expansion just a little bit, but it also depends on how you created your mask. In this case, I'll just increase it such that it's about 30. That's a good value, between 20 and 30. It's really dependent on the type of footage that you're working with. Once that is done, what you need to do next, you need to invert this selection so that you are only selecting areas outside this mask. Okay. Now we can re-enable our layer which is right beneath so that you can see what's happening. For now, you can't really see what's happening or what has happened until we add some effects onto this mask or this duplicate layer. Go to your effects and you can look for transform. It should be under distort, add it to your clip. Go to your effect controls. Now let's make some settings under the transform. We need to increase the scaling just a little bit. Now we can see the effects that we're really creating now. About 150 to 200 should look good. I leave it at around 155. Sorry, let me just leave it at 155. And then next, you want to change the shutter angle. Disable the option to use the composition's shutter angle, and then use your own shutter angle of about 180 degrees. So that's look good. Now afterwards, you also want to add a keyframe for rotation right here. Add a keyframe for rotation. Right click on that keyframe, set it on Bezier. Now go towards the end of the clip and then rotate that just a bit. Now we can see the rough edges right here. And the way to eliminate these is by making sure your scaling property is, that value is a bit high. So I told you between 150 to 200, you just need to figure out what works for you. So that way we'll have something that rotates and doesn't stay like constant in one position. Again, you don't have to mimic this keyframe as it is. Maybe you can bring it up to the middle here. Let's rotate it about 25 degrees. And then we can go later on, we can bring it back to 0 degrees. So let's place them perfectly in the middle and play it back. Yeah, and you can see with the bezier on the keyframes, it's really smooth and doesn't look as rigid as it would look. Now you can observe with the rotation keyframes and the bezier enabled on them, it's really smooth as it goes through the clip. It's almost natural you can't really tell it. Afterwards, you need to add another effect. Let's go to our effects and look for Lumetri. You don't really need to search for it as an effect. You can also go to your colors tab, and you're just going to play around with very few settings. Under Lumetri, we don't really have to change much, just a few corrections. You can change the temperature. In my case, I'll go towards a cold white, which is bringing the blues, as opposed to going towards a warmer shade, because the clip here in this case is already warm. So I'll put a negative to it. Then I'll increase the exposure just a tiny bit up to 1. And then you can also reduce our highlights. Just to recap, depending on your footage, increase the temperature or reduce it, and then increase the exposure just by a tiny bit, and then reduce the highlights. That's just it. Now we can go back to our normal working space. After all that is done, I need us to add another effect. Let's go to our effects and look for blur, a Gaussian blur in this case. Drop it to your clip. With the Gaussian blur, go to your effect controls, increase the blurriness. I'll leave it at around 14, 15. You see, now you have a better look, and make sure to repeat edge pixels. Once again, you can add one more effect to really spice these up, and I'll go for an HLS so that you can play around with the colors. Now for the HLS, depending on your computer specs, you might want it might hang a little bit. You can see now we have a red line. The trick here is to bring the HLS right above everything. Now when it's right above, it should be able to play. Hopefully it's playing. And then just change the hue. You can now really play around with the colors. Don't try to exaggerate the look. So I'm really vibing with this yellowish look. Yeah, looks good. Also increase your saturation so that that color is a bit more profound. So I'm really liking this look, and I feel like that's it. Once you're done, I know I said we should be able to do this in under 2 clicks, and that's what we're going to do now. Just click on all your effects, starting from the opacity, HLS, transform, Lumetri, and Gaussian blur. Right click on it, and then you can create your preset. So save that preset. Let's name it refraction look, and then just hit OK. Now we're going to apply the same thing on this other clip right here beside. So I'll find where I want to add this refraction. It's right here where he hops out of the car, and then I'll find where it ends right here. Now I'll duplicate that clip right in the middle, give it a different label color as usual, and then go to your effects. Under presets, you should find your refraction look, drag it and drop on that, duplicate. So let's give it a second to load, and it's already looking good. All you might need to change here maybe under effect controls is to adjust the keyframes, but these clips seems to be of the right size, so we don't really have to change anything. So let's play this back and see if we like it. Yeah, that's it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did prepping it for you. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button, and if you genuinely like this kind of content, I'd recommend for you to subscribe, because I have weekly videos that I'll be adding onto my channel. My name is Danny James. See you in the next video. Peace.